Paris is a bucket list destination for millions of people around the world. But if you've been researching a trip here recently, you probably also come across plenty of people saying it's too overcrowded, too expensive, full of scammers and pickpockets, and not quite as magical as they expected. So over the next 3 days, we're putting it all to the test as we take you around what we genuinely believe is the perfect Paris itinerary. We'll show you the best attractions, incredible places to eat, how to get around the city, what everything really costs, and plenty of practical tips to help you avoid the common mistakes that catch out so many first-time visitors. We have just landed in Paris, guys. We're at Charles de Gaulle Airport. We flew over from the UK with Air France, and that was such a breath of fresh air compared to Ryanair because it was such a pleasant experience. We highly recommend flying with Air France if you are traveling to France. Now, we're going to be spending the next couple of days exploring Paris and taking you guys along with us. But first, we've got to make our way from the airport into the city. So you might be wondering, how do you get from the airport into the city? Well, the easiest way is to take a train, and that is the RERB train. So once you come out of immigration, collected your luggage, you want to be following the signs for the RERB train, or the train station, gare in French. And then once you get here, you can buy physical tickets from the ticket office just behind me, or you can get the physical tickets from the automated ticket machines. But the easiest way to get your tickets is with the Bonjour RATP app. This is a public transport app for Paris. You're going to be using this for the metros when you're in Paris. You may as well download it now. And the cost of the tickets are 14 euros per person. I actually bought both of our tickets from my app. So that's quite handy because it just makes life easier. And you can use the Bonjour RATP app on both your iPhone and on Android. So you don't have to worry about that. And just over here, we're going to be scanning our tickets. You can see RERB. That's where we want to be heading. That's one for you.
Thank you. Merci beaucoup.
I have no idea why the ticket's not working. I bought two of them. One of these.
Yeah.
Oh, he's trying to push through. Oh, Jesus Christ. Right, let's try on this one. Okay.
Sorry, my boyfriend bought 2 tickets for us and he's not able to come through.
I've got 2 tickets, yeah. Oh, tap with this one. Okay, thank you. Okay.
Next time, buy separately, okay?
Oh, separately. Not together. Okay, that's good to know. Karolina's actually downloaded Bonjour RATP.
Yeah, he said 1 ticket per device.
Did you see the guy who pushed through the gate?
No?
There was literally a guy who didn't have a ticket, he just pushed through. To Paris? Okay. That is nice and convenient, so let's hop on over here. Wonder if there's somewhere to store the luggage. Oh, come on, come on, go, 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 go.
Always the last ones.
There's no luggage storage, but there's space in here. So this train is going to take around 40 to 50 minutes to get into Paris, and then from there we're going to be taking a metro. So I believe the total time from the airport to our accommodation is around 1 hour. Now what we highly recommend is getting an eSIM when you come to Paris, when you come to Europe. We actually activated our eSIM when we landed on the plane, literally. So that meant that we had internet straight away, and that makes your life so much easier. It makes it less stressful when you arrive because you can use the Bonjour RATP app to buy your tickets. Just remember, 1 app per person. Don't do what we just did. And actually, a little bit dark on the train. We're going in and out of tunnels here. You don't want to be using Google Maps here in Paris. The one that the locals use is City Mapper, but you will need data. And a train's going by right now. And also for walking directions and to understand which metros you need to take, City Mapper is going to be really useful for you. We'll put a QR code on screen, or you can go to the link in the description. We highly recommend SimLocal. We've been using them for the past year, and you can actually use our code JKarolina
Karolina at checkout to get 5% off your eSIM.
After arriving into Paris on the airport train, we still needed to take the metro for the final part of our journey into the city. Since we'd already downloaded the Bonjour RATP app for our airport train tickets, we used it again to buy our metro tickets. This time we purchased a bundle of 10 tickets, which ended up being enough for around 4 to 5 days of getting around Paris. If you're only visiting for a shorter period though, you can simply buy individual tickets as and when you need them.
Oops.
This scan my ticket.
Okay.
You need to push through.
One thing that you do need to be aware of while using the metro is pickpocketing. Unfortunately, Paris is one of Europe's most well-known cities for it, particularly on busy trains, crowded platforms, and around major tourist attractions. The challenge is that pickpockets rarely look like what you'd expect. They don't walk around wearing signs saying they're thieves. Most blend in perfectly with commuters, tourists, families, or even groups of friends, making them incredibly difficult to identify. Our advice is to stay aware of your surroundings and keep valuables somewhere secure. If you're carrying a backpack, wear it on your chest in crowded areas so you can always see it, and avoid keeping phones, wallets, or passports in easily accessible pockets. Tourists are generally the most common targets, particularly those who appear distracted or unfamiliar with the city. Older travelers and Asian tourists are often also targeted, as pickpockets may perceive them as easier victims or more likely to be carrying valuables.
Happy to report that we did not get pickpocketed, but it is so good to be back here in Paris. There's something so charming about this city. All of the buildings and the architecture, so French.
The city of love. So we've just checked into our Airbnb and you can see how nice this apartment looks. We really love it, but it's actually pretty expensive. It costs $410 per night. And we actually believe that the people living here moved out of the apartment to actually make money for the summer because it's peak season now. It's June, so the prices are pretty inflated. And this area is very iconic when you're coming for the first time to Paris because we are located around 10 to 15 minutes walk to the Eiffel Tower, so it's really good for this classic Parisian experience. But we wouldn't necessarily say that it's central. You still need to take public transportation to any other major attractions here in Paris. But if you're looking for more of a central location with walking distance to major attractions, we are actually going to be making another video called 17 Things You Need to Know Before Coming to Paris, where we'll break down different areas where to stay in Paris based on your preferences and budget.
After checking into our hotel, it was time for our first experience in Paris, a dinner cruise on the River Seine. We booked this experience through Klook with Bateaux Parisiens, one of the city's best known river cruise operators. At $207 per person, it certainly wasn't cheap, but with dinner, sightseeing and some of the best views in Paris all included, we were about to find out whether it was worth the price. Before getting on the boat, we first needed to collect our boarding passes and check in for the cruise. As we stepped on board, one of the first things that stood out was the entire dining area wrapped in huge glass windows, giving almost every table a fantastic view of the River Seine. And as you can probably tell from the number of people boarding with us, this is clearly one of the most popular experiences in Paris.
Thank you, merci.
To start the evening, we were served a glass of champagne, and I certainly wasn't going to say no to that on our first evening in Paris. Shortly afterwards, one of the onboard photographers came over to capture a few photos of us before the cruise got underway, giving us a nice little keepsake from the experience. Now, I'm not exactly the most photogenic person in the world, but I have to admit, they actually turned out to be really nice. Before long, we were sailing along the River Seine, with some of the city's most famous landmarks waiting just ahead of us.
Whilst we were cruising along the River Seine, our dinner was being served throughout the journey. We were given these little savory tartelettes topped with finely diced vegetables and edible flowers. Not long after our starters arrived, I went for a thin, crispy tart topped with smoked salmon, avocado, and a mango raspberry sauce. Jay chose the foie gras, served with a sour cherry chutney. Then came the mains, and this was probably the course that impressed us the most. I went for the grilled sea bass filet, served with green beans and edamame in a creamy herb sauce. The fish was beautifully cooked, incredibly delicate, and just melted in your mouth. Jay went for the meat option, which was a label rouge chicken supreme served with gnocchi, morel mushrooms, and a yellow wine sauce. It looked absolutely incredible and disappeared from his plate pretty quickly. And of course, there's always room for dessert, especially when they're created by Le Notre, one of Paris' most renowned patisseries, so expectations were already pretty high. I went for the peach verrine with sorbet, a light layered dessert with fruit and whipped cream, while Jay couldn't resist their raspberry cheesecake, which was every bit as good as it looked.
So we just got off the boat, guys, and honestly, we are a little bit tipsy because of all the champagne and wine they were offering on board. But honestly, that was such a special experience. It was a premium experience. We had the best seats, but you don't have to pay for the absolute best seats. That's also why we got the champagne and also a bottle of wine, because we went for the premium option. But actually you can go for more of a budget seating, so don't let the price scare you. And if you just want to go on a river cruise along the Seine, Bateaux Parisiens also do the river cruise, and I believe that's like 17 or 18 euros. Either way, you're going to have a great time here in Paris.
When in Paris, it almost feels wrong not to start your day with a visit to a boulangerie. But if you want the real deal, keep an eye out for the words Artisan Boulanger. It's a legally protected title that guarantees everything is made fresh on site and that the dough has never been frozen at any stage. The moment we stepped inside, we were greeted by that super comforting smell of warm butter and freshly baked bread.
So what do you want? Bonjour.
Bonjour. Un croissant.
Oui.
Just a croissant? Okay. And for me, un pain au chocolat.
Okay.
S'il vous plaît.
The display counters were packed with all kinds of French pastries, fruit tarts, cookies, biscuits, and rows of golden baguettes and traditional breads. But what really made this little boulangerie stand out was the owner Lionel. He was incredibly passionate about his craft and told us that being a baker in Paris isn't just a profession. It's something you genuinely have to love. His day starts at around 3 a.m. every morning, preparing all the breads and pastries that locals will be picking up and enjoying throughout the day. As we chatted, he proudly showed us some of the awards he had won over the years. A medal awarded for producing one of the best buttered croissants in Paris. The medal itself featured a boat sailing along the River Seine, symbolizing that his bakery would never sink.
Can I pay by card?
Yes, of course.
Thank you, merci.
Bonjour.
Okay, merci beaucoup.
Good morning, guys. We are starting the day the Parisian way with fresh pastries from the Boulangerie. And my favorite always is the croissant, but we also got a little piece of the pastry. Like he literally put it inside the bag, like we didn't even notice.
I noticed he snuck it in just while we were about to pay.
So nice. And this is called chouquette. It's like a sugar bread. The smell alone is just so good. It's perfectly crispy on the outside and super soft and buttery on the inside. I just don't know how they make these croissants in France to taste so good.
No trip to Paris is complete without going up the Eiffel Tower just there. Now the question is, do we go all the way to the summit or do we want to go to the second floor? The answer is we're going to be doing both. Now, the first time we came to Paris, we took the lift to both the second floor and then to the summit. This time, we're going to be burning off some calories from that Boulangerie earlier and all the croissants that we devoured by taking the lift. No, not taking the lift. We're going to be taking the steps. I think there's about 704 steps. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's the number of steps.
So in total, 669 steps.
And then from the second floor, we're going to be taking a lift to the summit. Bonjour. City Wonders?
City Wonders indeed.
Perfect.
JS, right?
That's us. Perfect.
Great stuff. Top of my list.
Oh, I appreciate
Love
it.
it. I have 2 pink stickers, please. That's for you.
Thank you.
You
Perfect.
can put them anywhere you like.
Sure. She loves pink, so
You're all set.
she's
Oh,
happy.
it goes with your bag. It goes with your bag.
Perfect.
As we made our way up, our guide shared some fascinating facts about the tower's creator, Gustave Eiffel. At the time, Eiffel was one of France's most respected engineers and became famous for pushing the boundaries of what could be achieved with iron construction. The Eiffel Tower would go on to become his most famous creation, but it wasn't his only masterpiece. Gustave Eiffel also played a key role in the construction of the Statue of Liberty, designing the internal framework that allows the monument to stand to this day. And if you ever wondered why Paris has its own Statue of Liberty, it's because a smaller version was gifted to the city as a symbol of the friendship between France and the United States. After taking in the views from the first floor and braving the famous glass floor suspended beneath our feet, it was time to continue the climb up to the second floor, where even better views of Paris were waiting for us.
We have made it, guys, to the second floor, and the views are absolutely glorious. Unobstructed from the second floor. Just down there, there is a metal cage, and actually on the first floor, there is also a metal cage, so you're kind of having a bit of a blocked view, but from here, you see everything so clearly. And the walk up to the second floor was, for me, a bit strenuous.
But I would say if you're not good with steps, it's definitely a workout, especially in the morning.
I would personally recommend taking the lift, spend the extra money. It is more expensive, but we are going to take the lift from the second floor up to the summit so you can get a comparison of the views from here on the second floor compared to the summit.
Excusez-moi.
Yeah, do you just want to do the selfies?
Bar, back this way, please.
Ooh, we get champagne.
2 glasses of champagne and caviar, 78 euros. Tempting.
Jesus Christ. 78 euros for 2 glasses champagne. I mean, we are on the Eiffel Tower.
Oh my god.
You see someone setting up a tripod. It is very narrow here at the top. There's so many people just like kind of all clumped up together just like this. So in my opinion, it's not really worth it. Look, there's just got the cage over here. It is nice to get
Oh wow.
kind of a bird's eye view from up here, but the reality is that it's just a bit chaotic.
To secure the spot.
People are literally fighting for the spots, like kind of shouting in your ear.
Yeah, the views are breathtaking.
The views are very nice.
One thing almost every tourist coming to Paris underestimates is just how large the city actually is. While many of Paris's famous attractions look close together on a map, you'll quickly realize you'll be taking the metro constantly throughout your trip and doing a lot of walking between stations and attractions. Having data on your phone becomes absolutely essential. We found ourselves using the Bonjour RATP app almost every day to buy metro tickets and manage our transport around the city, while Citymapper became our go-to app for navigating Paris. It tells you which metro lines to take, provides walking directions, and even shows you which station exits to use. We also used Google Maps to find and reserve restaurants, which we highly recommend doing at least a day in advance, as many of Paris's most popular spots book up quickly. That's why we always recommend using an eSIM. If you haven't used one before, it's basically a digital SIM card you install on your phone in seconds. You simply activate it when you land in France and you're connected straight away. No hunting for SIM shops at the airport or swapping physical SIM cards, which honestly makes arriving so much less stressful. The eSIM we personally use and recommend is SIM Local. They offer a range of plans in France depending on how much data you need, from 20 gigs all the way up to unlimited data, with some plans also including calls and texts. They also offer dedicated Europe eSIM plans covering up to 36 countries, which is perfect if you're visiting multiple destinations on the same trip. Instead of buying separate SIM cards in each country, you can stay connected across Europe with a single eSIM. Another feature we really like is their 100% refund policy. So if your travel plans change or you no longer need the eSIM, getting a refund is really straightforward. They also have a super useful Find My Plan tool that helps you choose the best option for your trip. And for extra peace of mind, SimLocal provides 24/7 customer support via WhatsApp, email, and phone, plus they're rated 4.5 stars on Trustpilot, something that always is reassuring when you're traveling abroad. So if you're planning a trip to Paris, or honestly anywhere else in Europe, sorting this out before you fly can save you a huge amount of stress once you arrive. Just scan the QR code on screen or use the link in the description to check out SimLocal's France and Europe plans, and don't forget to use our code JKarolina for 5% off.
After climbing the Eiffel Tower, we wanted to experience Paris the way many locals do every day, by bike. Cycling is a huge part of life here, and it's relatively easy for visitors too, thanks to the city's public bike sharing system, Verip. One thing we quickly learned though is that it's much better to use the Verip app rather than the ticket machines at the docking stations. If you use the machines, they place a deposit of 300 euros on your card, which seemed a bit of a nuisance to be honest. Instead, we downloaded the app and just for 3 euros, we got a 45-minute ride. Once you've purchased your ticket, you can add it straight to your Apple Wallet, scan the bike you want to use, and within seconds you are ready to go.
Oh, there's no stations to park it. Oh, there's one there. Go, go, go. Yeah, you do that one. I'll do this one.
By this point, we had worked up quite an appetite, so we headed to one of the highest rated restaurants near the Louvre. Known for its traditional French cuisine, it's clearly popular with both locals and tourists alike. And judging by its reviews on Google Maps, we weren't the only ones keen to try it. One thing we've realized about Paris is that if there's any restaurants you really want to eat at, especially one of the city's more popular spots, it's always worth making a reservation in advance. Paris. The best places can fill up surprisingly quickly, particularly during peak travel season, and many can be booked directly through Google Maps. Jay couldn't resist ordering one of France's most famous dishes, duck confit. This traditional dish consists of duck leg that's been slowly cooked in its own fat until incredibly tender, then crisped up on the outside and served with roasted potatoes, a fresh salad, and gravy on the side. They also had a daily lunch special written on a blackboard outside, something you will see at many restaurants across Paris between around midday and 2 p.m. One of the options that day was salmon gravlax, which is cured salmon served cold. It came with a slice of lemon, French fries, fresh salad, and a creamy coleslaw on the side, which made it feel surprisingly light and well balanced. These staff were incredibly friendly, the food was fantastic, and it ended up being one of our favorite meals of the entire trip.
If it's your first time visiting Paris, there's a good chance the Louvre will be near the top of your list. Even before stepping inside, the Louvre is impressive. Surrounding the famous glass pyramids are the beautiful courtyards and historic buildings of the former royal palace, making this one of the most stunning areas in the entire city. But of course, it's what's beneath those pyramids that draws millions of people here every year. The Louvre is home to some of the world's most famous works of art, including the Mona Lisa, the Venus de Milo, and thousands of other masterpieces spanning centuries of history. As the world's most visited museum, attracting around 9 million visitors each year, it's definitely worth booking your tickets in advance. The first time we came to Paris, standard tickets were completely sold out for the entire trip, so we ended up booking a more premium guided tour. Given just how enormous the Louvre is, having a guide navigate us through the museum and take us straight to some of the most famous masterpieces, including the Mona Lisa, was actually really helpful, although it does come at a higher price. If you'd like to visit the Louvre yourself, you can book both standard tickets and guided tours through Klook by scanning the QR code on screen or using the link in the description below. You could easily spend 3 or 4 hours exploring the museum alone, so unfortunately we didn't have time to go inside on this trip, but if you'd like to see what it's like, you can check out our first Paris video where we visited the Louvre ourselves.
Our next stop was the Musée d'Orsay, and to make things easy, we had booked our tickets in advance through Klook. All we had to do was scan the QR code at the entrance, and within a couple of minutes we were inside, ready to start exploring.
Now, a lot of people who visit both the Louvre and this museum, they actually say this one is the better experience, considering how popular the Louvre is, the most paid attraction in the world, and they're saying this museum is better than that.
The museum is best known for its incredible collection of Impressionist and Post-Impressionist art, with works from some of the most famous artists in history. But before we even got to the paintings, the building itself immediately caught our attention. What many people don't realize is that this was originally built as a railway station for the 1900s Paris World's Fair, and you can still see that history everywhere you look, from the huge glass roof above to the grand open hall below. Most visitors naturally make their way upstairs, and so did we. The galleries on the second floor are connected by beautiful passages lined with sculptures, making the walk through the museum feel like an attraction in itself. If you're hoping to see the museum's most famous artworks though, you will want to head up to the 5th floor. That's exactly where you will find many of the masterpieces people come here for, including works by Renoir, Monet, and Van Gogh. Seeing these paintings in person is completely different from seeing them online. The colors feel richer, the details stand out so much more, and you really start to appreciate why these artists became so famous. After exploring the galleries, we made our way to one of the museum's most iconic spots, the giant clock window. Originally used by train passengers over a century ago, it now frames one of the most recognizable views in the museum. Right next to it is the museum's beautiful restaurant, which feels almost as grand as the building itself. And just beside the restaurant, there's a fantastic viewpoint overlooking Paris. From here you can see Montmartre and the Sacré-Cœur Basilica sitting on that hill in the distance, the river Seine winding through the city, and even the Louvre stretching out below. It was the perfect spot to stop for a few minutes and take in the view before heading back out into the city.
As you can probably tell, we are back at the apartment. I say we, but Karolina's actually gone to the Boulangerie we went to this morning to get a baguette because we're having a wine and cheese night tonight. So we went to a supermarket called Monoprix and we got plenty of meats, cheeses. We got a little bit carried away. The bill came to something like 60 euros. We got some red wine, and so we're gonna take things easy this evening. We're spending 4 nights pretty much in Paris. We weren't planning to film on every single day. I think that's changed. And the reason why it's changed is because the same reason a lot of tourists book too little days in Paris. So if you're booking 2 or 3 days, I think this is too little. I think 4 or 5 nights in Paris gives you enough time to really appreciate Paris at a nice pace. Now what happens is if you go for 2 or 3 nights, factor in your travel time and things get overwhelming quickly. You get very tired. It is summertime. It is 30 degrees here in Paris. We started the morning off at 7 in the morning. It's now 6 p.m. And honestly, after the museum, I just said to Karolina, I need to just relax this evening. And so that's why I wanted to have a little chat with you guys. When you come to Paris, give yourself some more time. Book an extra night or 2. Have some breaks planned in and don't try to do absolutely everything. Because when you're stressed and you're tired, you won't be able to appreciate everything that Paris has to offer as much as it deserves. So this evening we're going to be having a cheeky cheese and wine night. Or is it cheese, meat and wine? You know what I'm talking about.
Our next stop was the Palais Garnier, one of the most beautiful opera houses in the world. One thing to be definitely aware of is that the Palais Garnier isn't open for visitors every day, and opening hours can vary depending on performances and events, so we would definitely recommend checking the official website before your trip. Even though we had booked our tickets for a 1 p.m. slot on our final day in Paris, we still ended up queuing outside for around 20 minutes in the summer heat before finally getting inside. And truly speaking, the moment we stepped through the doors, one of the first things that caught our attention wasn't even the architecture. It was the number of people taking photos. Everywhere we looked, there seemed to be mini photo shoots happening throughout the building, but to be fair, once we started exploring, we completely understood why. Immediately, the second thing that catches your eye is the grand staircase. An enormous marble staircase surrounded by gold detailing, sculptures, chandeliers, and elegant balconies. It feels less like an opera house and more like a royal palace. As we continued exploring, every room seemed more impressive than the last. From the lavish grand foyer with its mirrors, chandeliers, and paintings inspired by Versailles' Hall of Mirrors, to the beautifully decorated salons and galleries, there was always something incredible to look at. One thing we found fascinating is that the Palais Garnier was commissioned by Emperor Napoleon III and took 15 years to build, which probably explains why every corner feels so unbelievably grand. We also got the chance to look inside the main auditorium, with its rows of red velvet seats, private boxes, intricate gold decorations, and the famous chandelier hanging from the ceiling. It's hard to believe this incredible building first opened back in 1875. And coming back to all those photo shoots, by the end of our visit, I completely got it. I love a nice photo as much as everyone else, and the Palais Garnier is probably one of the most photogenic buildings in Paris. It was honestly quite entertaining seeing just how seriously some people were taking their photos. That aside, the Palais Garnier was every bit as beautiful as we had hoped for and ended up being one of our favorite attractions in Paris. If you appreciate architecture, history, or simply beautiful interiors, we would definitely recommend adding it to your itinerary.
One of the best free views in Paris is hidden at the top of a department store. Located on Boulevard Haussmann, Galeries Lafayette has been one of Paris's most famous shopping destinations for over a century. While millions of people visit each year to browse its luxury boutiques, many come for something else entirely, a rooftop terrace offering incredible views across the city, completely free of charge. As we made our way inside, it quickly became clear that the building itself is just as much as an attraction as the view. The moment you step into the central atrium, your eyes are immediately drawn upwards to the spectacular stained glass dome towering above. With its sweeping balconies and beautiful Art Nouveau design, it's easy to see why this has become one of the most photographed interiors in Paris. And it's not just something you admire from below, visitors can actually walk out onto a suspended glass platform beneath the dome, but be warned, there's almost always a large queue for the glass platform. With time of the essence, we didn't want to spend our afternoon waiting in line, so instead we headed up to the rooftop, taking a lift to the 6th floor before following the signs for La Terrasse.
Wow, what a view it is up here. I can see the Eiffel Tower so crisply in the distance.
And a massive opera house right in front of us.
That's Palais Garnier.
Yes.
Wow. Completely free viewing platform on Galeries Lafayette. The important thing to note is that this is Galeries Lafayette Haussmann, because there are actually quite a few of these galleries around Paris. You don't want to come to the wrong one, but the views up here, completely free. You have to spend at least 15 to 30 euros for views all over Paris, and this one is completely free.
And look, this is a perfect picture spot. No trip to Paris would feel complete without stopping for some gelato from Amorino, home to what might just be the prettiest ice cream in the city. What's impressive is that Amorino was founded in Paris in 2002 by two childhood friends from Italy. Since then, it has grown into an international brand, but its philosophy remains the same: creating high-quality gelato as naturally as possible with no artificial colors or flavorings. Unlike most ice cream shops, ordering here is done through a self-service touchscreen. Then came the part Amorino is famous for. Watching the staff carefully shape each scoop into delicate petals was almost as enjoyable as eating it, with the finished gelato looking more like a flower than an ice cream. And the best part is that each layer of petals can be a different flavor, meaning you can try several at once. Oh my god, look how pretty this ice cream looks. It's literally like a rose. The colors are so beautiful, and there is a macaron on top. I can't wait to try it because this gelateria was on my list for such a long time.
Tastes good?
It's incredible. You can get me flowers like this, Jay. Just a suggestion. And actually, it's so hot, it's melting.
So once you exit the gardens, you'll come to this area called Place de la Concorde. So Concorde means harmony. They wanted to change the narrative to this square because during the French Revolution, 1,100 people were executed here. I imagine the guillotine was sitting where the golden obelisk is right now. You can imagine the scenes happening here. So they wanted to bring some more peaceful energy to this area.
The Luxor obelisk is 3,000 years old and is the oldest monument in Paris. It originally stood outside Egypt's Luxor temple before being gifted to France in the 1830s.
And if things are getting a little bit too hot for you in Paris, like it is for me, you can come have a nice little cool down here at the fountain. Oh, that is so nice. Woo. Beautiful. And right next to the Place de la Concorde, you have the Champs-Élysées. So we're now at the Arc de Triomphe, just over there. You can hear a lot of horning in the background because the roundabout surrounding the Arc de Triomphe is actually the busiest roundabout in Paris. And you don't want to be crossing the roundabout to get to the Arc de Triomphe. There is a kind of underpass underground that gets you over there.
Commissioned by Napoleon in 1806 after a series of military victories, the Arc de Triomphe was built to honour the soldiers who fought and died for France during the French Revolution and Napoleonic Wars. Construction took more than 30 years to complete, and today the names of hundreds of French generals and military victories are engraved into its stone walls. Beneath the arch lies the tomb of the unknown soldier, whose eternal flame has burned continuously since 1923 in remembrance of those who lost their lives in war.
We have made it to the top, guys, and what an impressive view it is from up here. You've literally got 360 views of Paris. You see literally everything.
And actually what's interesting is that from Arc de Triomphe, the 12 major roads are going through all of the different directions, and the views are incredible.
And that's why that roundabout, which is where the Arc de Triomphe is situated, is the busiest, because you've got all their main roads connecting to the Arc de Triomphe. I think this is possibly one of the best views, if not the best view, in Paris. And it's not actually that hard to get up here. We thought it was going to be more difficult, but there wasn't that many steps.
It took us maybe like up to 10 minutes maximum.
For our final dinner, guys, we have come to a absolutely beautiful restaurant, only 10 minutes away from the Eiffel Tower, and it's literally 3 floors, even an open roof. And the interior design of this restaurant is just so elegant, so beautiful. It feels like I'm inside of a Parisian rainforest. Everything's so... Oh, sorry. It's okay. Hello.
Crème brûlée and profiterole.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Okay. We're doing the intro after we've had our food, only because the tables are so close together. I feel a little bit self-conscious because every time I speak to the camera, always the next table is always like staring at me, so I feel really self-conscious. But as I was saying, absolutely stunning restaurant. It feels like I've gone back in time, actually. It feels like I'm in like the 1950s, 1960s. That obviously wasn't my time. I was born in the 1990s, but I imagine this is how it felt during that period of time, and it's really, really beautiful. I'm really happy that we came here.
We specifically chose this restaurant because the menu was packed with some of France's most traditional dishes. For our starter, we kept noticing people around us ordering the bone marrow. Fresh from the oven, it arrived with a beautiful golden glaze on top, and once we scooped the rich, buttery marrow out of the bone and spread it onto the warm toasted bread, it looked every bit as good as it sounded. And trust me, it tasted even better.
That is absolutely delicious. Wow.
For my main, I went for the grilled tuna steak with ratatouille, and quite frankly, it was the best fish dish I have ever had. The flavors were so fresh and perfectly balanced, while the tuna was cooked to absolute perfection. Beautifully seared on the outside, but incredibly soft, tender and juicy in the middle. Paired with the rich tomato-based ratatouille underneath, it was one of those dishes where every bite just made you want another. And Jay originally wanted to order the classic steak frites, but when he spotted the house specialty on the menu, he couldn't resist. It was a beautifully cooked beef fillet topped with maître d'hôtel batter, served with crispy golden French fries. So instead of the usual creamy béarnaise sauce, this classic French batter is made with garlic, parsley, lemon, sea salt and black pepper, melting over the steak and adding an incredible amount of flavor to every bite. So for dessert, of course, I had to go for my favorite crème brûlée, and I cracked the top and it was so satisfying. Heaven in my mouth, so milky, so smooth, and there's this vanilla and like bourbon aftertaste. I love it. 10 out of 10.
Myself, I went for the profiteroles. Now, in the UK, where I'm from, usually they have cream inside of these. They're usually these like kind of small little donuts. But this is rather large, and it's got, I believe, vanilla ice cream. This looks a treat. That is bloody delicious. This is the most stupidest thing ever. I've taken out probably 3 kilos, 4 kilos maybe. Bonjour. We went to check in and they said that we had too much weight.
Yeah, can I have it for both of you?
For both of us, yes.
Okay, can I have passports and boarding pass, please?
Sure.
So I will check them for free because the flight is full and we are looking for carry-on bags, okay?
Okay.
If the flight were not full, we're supposed to pay, okay?
So we paid for the carry-on, but that it's not included in the...
I mean, even if you pay,
Yeah.
the weight is maximum 12 kilos.
12 kilos.
Including
All right. That's why we put all the clothes on.
Yeah, but I think with the backpack it's pretty more than 12, right?
Okay. Is it usually this hot in summertime in Paris?
Yeah, it could be in June, July and August, yeah. Go back to the rainy country, 20 degrees.
Yes, beautiful.
Yeah.
Not too hot.
I
Okay.
love you, Cam. Joking.
Come on over, it's great. She's from Poland.
Ah.
Yeah. Okay, merci. We need to have a little chat about what just happened here at Charles de Gaulle Airport. We're heading back to the UK, we're leaving Paris, we're leaving France, and we had a great experience with Air France coming in to Paris. So from the UK side of things, it was very pleasant. But when we got to Charles de Gaulle Airport to actually head out of the country, it's a bit of a different story. So we went to security and they're actually weighing both your carry-ons. So we had a little suitcase and our rucksacks. We paid for carry-on luggage. The cost of the flights return were £200 each. £400, that's including paying an additional amount for the carry-ons. And then when we actually go to the security, they are, I don't know why people are so loud. Anyways, they actually weighed it and it couldn't be over 12 kilos per person.
And we literally don't have anything. I have like 3 dresses in my bag.
Yeah, we don't have that much with us. I mean, we have around 15 kilos, which is not a lot, and we paid for the bloody carry-on. So we had to go back to the check-in counter. We already checked in online, and then they said, you're lucky because usually you would have to pay for the extra weight, but they said the flight, was it not full?
Yeah, it's not full.
So we got very fortunate. We probably would have had to pay like 160 euros extra on top of them, like flights. It makes me really consider like travels around Europe, especially to Western Europe, because things are just getting so expensive. You've seen from this video. We're gonna talk about the 17 things you need to know before coming to Paris. I think one of the things we're gonna be talking about is how much we spent, a budget. I had a little look on Reddit and the experience from Charles de Gaulle with Air France. People have had similar experiences. Anyways, that's the rant over. We hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you got value from our trip to Paris. Don't forget to subscribe and we'll see you guys in the
Next video.
Just said, don't be too loud.